the whole film.
Now, what about Kings of Pastry? You said they came to you and you talked about the necessity for having access. This is the first time I understand they've ever allowed cameras backstage, so to speak, where the judges are, where the 16 contestants. What is this contest anyway? We should tell people what is an MOF, the thing you're trying to seek.
Okay, well, I actually heard about this contest from a friend of mine who decided to take a course at the French Pastry School in Chicago, which is a very prestigious, amazing school that teaches French pastry. And she told me about how there were two founders of the school, and one of them, Jackie Pfeiffer, was going to travel back to France and compete in this very epic 3-day pastry competition. And when they win this competition, which is called the Meilleur Ouvrier de France, which means the best craftsman in France, they're awarded a prize by the President Sarkozy, and they wear on their jacket for the rest of their lives this kind of tricolor collar. So everybody knows they are the best. And so it's a contest for like a title almost, like a degree almost that they get. And it's a very grueling thing, and the chefs, they practically mortgage their house and, break up their families over, trying to compete in this contest, because it's really kind of a lifelong dream for chefs, and so they're practicing for it almost at the beginning of their career if they decide to go this way.
And we see Jackie Pfeiffer go to France. He gets there weeks early. He has a mentor who has an MOF, and we see the preparation where he sets up a kitchen in a garage and goes through all these preparations. Right. It's like unbelievable. But you also found two other people, French people, that you cover, and it's quite extraordinary, really, the personalities that emerge in this. But again, what about the access of being able to let the judges let you go back there while they're actually doing this, when nobody else has ever been able to do this?
It was very hard. I mean, we went out and met Jackie in July, and then, we decided we liked each other, and he said he would allow us to go on this journey with him. And then in August, we tried to contact the heads of this organization. Well, of course, August in France, nobody's working. So
they're on vacation, God.
So, if you can't get real access, it's hard to raise money. So we kind of just decided to do it ourselves, and I can shoot, so it wasn't a big expense for us just to go on the journey. So we met Jackie in September in Alsace, where he was practicing, and continued to try to get access to this competition. And then we really finally just got access the day before the competition happened in October, and we met with the heads of the organization, and they said, well, we've never let anybody in to watch this, so nobody's ever filmed it even, and, we'll let you in, but every day after the end of the filming day, you have to, meet with us, and we'll have to decide if we'd liked you, and you could go ahead. So it was a very risky project for us, but...
cliffhanger, I'd call it.
A cliffhanger, and by the third day, because in this contest, they're not just making tiny little chocolates and cream puffs, they're really, artists and engineers and chemists. They're making these huge sugar sculptures that a lot of them are done with blown sugar in the same way that you would do if you were doing glass blowing or something like that. So, and they're very, very fragile. So at the end, they're carrying everything to their buffets by the third day. So at the third day of the competition, when it would be just awful if you hit somebody by accident with your camera, they said, okay, we're going to draw a little box at the end of the kitchen table, and about this big, and you can stand there and shoot from there, and that's it. So, it was hard to film this competition, but in the end, I think, we were able to get some amazing things, and I think, for a pastry competition, it ends up being incredibly dramatic for some reason.
Well, I must say one of the most dramatic moments is when the judge comes out to announce the winners, and he's crying.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable. Yeah. You just never see this kind of thing. He felt so bad. And one contestant, we're not going to give away anything here, but one contestant seems to be having a nervous breakdown during the process. And it's almost like, I felt like it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something. All of his little comrades are coming up, giving him hugs and patting him on the back, saying, don't lose faith, keep on going. It's extraordinary sight of humans under stress,
I mean, because I think that's the difference between this film about a competition and food shows is this is a real award. It has kind of a cultural, historic background, and it really means something to these chefs. You know, and they've spent years of their life preparing for it, and be in the chef community, it means a lot. So I think the other chefs and judges, if they see somebody who's really at that level, and we're talking about excellences here because that's what it's really about, you know, they want them to be part of their club, so they're kind of rooting for them. It's not like, you know, stabbing them in the back in, you know, Food Channel shows. It's a very different environment, but it is interesting, and the judge, the chef who was giving the awards at the end was crying because he spent 12 years of his life trying to get the collar, and he did get it in the end. So he knew how painful it was going to be when he would read the names off at the end, and some of them weren't going to get it.
Every 3 years does this competition happen?
3 to 4 years.
Okay, because he had tried, was it 3 or 4 times, right? Now, when they say yes, you can come in and shoot, at least on the first day, we'll let you try this. You don't need permission then from the 16 candidates, because the organization has said...
They don't even see us.
Oh, okay.
They're so involved in each, you know, what they're doing. The problem for us was we're watching people do something and we've no idea whether they're doing it well or badly or even what it is they're doing. So we're just, for 10 hours, we're just filming people and trying to figure out what we're filming. And it wasn't until we started to edit it that we knew what to look for.
How did you get the 2 French people as the other focus along with Jackie Pfeiffer?
You know, we just tried to see if there were some chefs that would let us in to film them, and you know, we filmed, you know, probably about 5 different chefs in different degrees, but you know, there were a lot of white balding men, let's say, with chef hats on, and you know, it was an editing.
What a little variety!
It was an editing choice to kind of, you know, narrow down the film, but
I couldn't help but think of the Julia Child movie where she went to the Cordon Bleu and was an outsider coming in and became a super successful chef. And thinking of that, I could not help but notice that there were no women among these 16 people. Why?
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, it's still quite medieval almost. I mean, most of these chefs apprentice at like 15 to another chef and kind of start their career that way. And you know, it's also still back in the time, you know, when it was just men in a certain way. The year that we filmed was the first year, because this award is given to many different crafts fields. The most prestigious are some of the food ones, and that year somebody in the hot foods category was a woman and got the award, and it was a very big deal for the organization.